The Wolves are out for Lincoln Riley after USC's disappointing 7-5 season. You got the media, fans, coaches turned analysts absolutely destroying him. But are they right?
I got a feel-good story for you.
What else do you want the man to do?
We're counting down the best plays. How do you define success?
George Wrighster.
I want to go into shots that got fired this weekend. Lord have mercy. And Lincoln Riley was the target of a lot of shots this weekend. And granted, it was fair after they lost to UCLA 38-20. And USC, who was a preseason favorite to win a national championship or at least make the playoffs by a lot of people, not me, because I saw this defense coming. I knew it was coming. And anybody with two eyes and that couldn't see past Caleb Williams had to admit that it was going to be a significant problem. They relied so heavily on turnovers last year. It don't work like that when you don't have an all-time great defense. Like if you have an all-time great defense, yes, you can expect turnovers the next year. But look at what Georgia's doing. They're just getting stops. They're just lining up, getting stops, and that's what USC can't do. And Chip Kelly, he was the source of a lot of rumors this week. Oh, Chip's going to be out after the USC game. He's going to be fired, all this stuff. And then you had Dan Mullen go full Sean Payton in a tweet. He said, maybe it's the wrong coach in LA that is on the hot seat. I was like, damn, Dan, you went full Sean Payton talking about Nathaniel Hackett? You don't normally see coaches do that, but Dan Mullen is fully embracing his media role. He might be like, listen, I ain't going back to coaching, or Lincoln Riley ain't my boy, no way, so shots are going to be fired. But I do think that it is fair to look at what is going on at USC. It's not the fact that they finished the season 7-5. That's not the issue. It's that in those games toward the end of the season, they got broken and they quit. They showed up for the UCLA game, started out down 14-0, lifeless. UCLA couldn't put any more points up at first, and they got back in the game a little bit. Then once it wasn't going their way, you saw body language go down, weren't fighting as hard, and UCLA was like, cool, adios, buddy, sayonara, pedal to the metal. But the biggest thing that people are going to point to is Lincoln Riley and his defensive coordinator. Because it took him a long time to fire his friend and longtime defensive coordinator out of Oklahoma and USC, Alex Grinch. But now for him to find a new offensive coordinator, whether it's Jimmy Lake, whether it is Jim Leonard, whether it is, whoever it is going to be, DJ Durkin, whoever it's going to be, that their philosophies are going to have to match. Because if you're a defensive coordinator coming in with Lincoln Riley, you're going to have a couple of questions. Number one question that you're going to have for Lincoln Riley is, are you trying to go to the NFL right now? Are you trying to go to the NFL? Because I'm not going to leave where I'm at or turn down other potential jobs if your plan is to be in Chicago next year. Legitimate question. And then the next question that they're going to have is about philosophy of physicality. Because the week that Oregon played against USC, and Oregon's one of the most physical teams in the country this year, and any coach who they played against will tell you that, including Kyle Whittingham at Utah, who usually has one of the most physical teams in the country. During that week that they were playing against USC, Oregon did live tackling at points in time in practice. Live. That means you are putting some of your best players at risk of getting injured and getting knocked around. Now, you don't have to do that every week, but sometimes there is a level of physicality that must be present at practice at all times. And that does mean that players are going to get knocked around. Now, is Lincoln Riley going to be okay with some of his wide receivers, backs, or other people big name people getting knocked around? That's a philosophy issue that their new defensive coordinator is going to need to match up with Lincoln Riley. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out between Lincoln and the new defensive coordinator hire.